The two dimensions that I did more tasks in were social and environmental. It was easier for me to do tasks in these two dimensions. For social, I reached out to a lot of my old friends, and then for environmental, I actually recycled a lot, and I kept the outside of the house pretty clean and safe. I would say it's a little bit of all the dimensions. I did most of my experiments within the family category. I did a lot of things for my family. For example, I cleaned inside the house, I cleaned outside the house. I went to family gatherings, which I normally don't do because I don't have time. I spent time with my family, which was super enjoyable. And then here, as you can see, I did a little bit of all, but the two that I struggled with were emotional and then intellectual. Um, I didn't really know what experiments I would do for those, but I did a little bit for intellectual. I studied a week before my science quizzes, and I did good actually. But then for emotional, that was a little bit tough because I feel like that was similar to spiritual, and so emotional I kind of related it to like there was a point where I wrote down like letters of who I was angry with, and so I just wrote down like stuff that I wanted to say, but I never did send them or say them to them. Those two were the hard ones. I fulfilled a lot in the personal dimension as well. In that one, what I realized that was super common was how I wanted to be fit. I worked a lot in my physical dimension. I wanted to be happier. I wanted to be better in shape. I wanted to eat healthier. That was a main goal from this assignment. Um, some highlights were how I actually lost weight by committing to the physical dimension. I went to the gym literally almost every day after school, before work. I had a lot of time for my family as well. I actually took off a weekend to spend time with my family, so that was a big highlight because everyone was super surprised to see me, and that was super good. I reconnected with old friends, which isn't really common now. You know, like you reconnect with them, but it's like through only like social media or messages. And I actually got to see them in person. We went to eat breakfast and dinner, so that was really good. And another highlight were how like my family was just happy with me. Like they were happy to see that I was at home actually helping and not just, being busy or stressed with all my school stuff and work. Um, but overall this was a pretty good I don't know, it was a pretty good experiment overall. Not only because I worked a lot in my physical dimension, but because I did a little bit of everything. And at first, like I thought it would be hard to stay on track of this, but like it wasn't because I did things that made me happy, that made me like lose stress. Like it was fun doing this overall.